Hi kids, today we are going to draw Buddy the Elf and we are going to talk about the proportions of the human body. So I'm going to look at my picture as a reference, but I can't fit it in on the video. I'll try to put him over here. Okay, so I want to make my Buddy about 7.5 heads high. So I'm going to make his head up here and I'm going to make it about this big. And I'm going to leave a little bit of room for his hat. Buddy needs a neck, so I'm going to make 2 curves for his neck. And then whenever I make his shoulders, I want to make his shoulders about 3 heads wide. So I'm going to make this side go out as wide as his head. And then I'm going to do this side. So I would have 1, 2, 3. This is a little bit of a tricky part for me to tell you what I do. I kind of make his body bigger than the head, and I'll move in a little bit like this so this is going to be his shoulder. So I go about here, and then I'm going to curve his body in. Make it to about there. Just make sure it's sort of like a rectangle bigger than his head. And I'm going to draw a light line there because I'm going to erase that later on. For his legs, you want the legs to be as tall as the head and the neck and the body combined. So I'm going to measure with my finger and just bring it all the way down to here. Okay, and then his legs should be as wide as his body at the top, and then they'll get skinnier at the bottom, and we know he's wearing tights. So we could make a long, skinny, sort of like a triangle. If you want to be fancy, you could really look at the shape of his legs. They sort of curve out more out there. And then his knee, and then his calf muscle curves a little bit like that. And then he has elf shoes. So they have a part that sticks up sort of like the tongue of your tennis shoe, and then the back sticks up like that, and then it comes down like this, just like your tennis shoe. See that? Only instead of making it round here, I'm going to curve it up. And then you could do the other one. If you can't do that, you could just make a plain foot or shoe. Okay, then I'm going to go back up to his arms. And usually your hand should hit right there about your thigh, but on the picture he's bending his arm. So I'm going to make him bend sort of like a triangle, a sideways triangle. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of room, and his hand goes here. It's like a fist. So it's sort of like an oval with bumps for his knuckles. Okay, and then I'm going to do his collar. The collar's a little bit tricky. It's a V on the inside, and then it looks like 2 sort of oval shapes, and you'll see how they stick up above the neck a little bit. You have to erase in here. Then I'll do the other side. And then he has thick cuffs. They're just rectangles. If you want to curve them, they curve around. Or you could just make them plain rectangles. And then you need to, of course, erase in there. His jacket is a little tricky. He has a zipper sort of part in the middle, so I make a line down the center. And then I'm going to curve this over way past, a little past his thigh. And then I'll do the other side. And then this comes under his thigh and connects back there. So that's inside his jacket, and this is the outside, but this looks funny, so I need to connect this to the outside edge here. And then this stuff gets erased. So you could see he is wearing a long jacket now. He has a belt. It's pretty simple. It's just a straight line. And then I'm going to erase a little space here, and I'm going to make a big rectangle or square, and then a little rectangle or square for his belt buckle. Finally, I'm going to do his face, and you could think about the proportions of the face. I put a line in the center of the oval because that's where his eyes go. And then I'm going to make his curly hair go all the way from where his eyes would be and down here a little bit, not all the way up at the top or he'll look bald. So you could cover all that bald with hair, curly hair. Triangle hat, that's easy. He has like a curved band and for some reason a feather. Okay, and then he has little ears. Then I'm going to put his eyes on the line, and in the picture his eyes are really open wide. He's making a funny face, so I'm going to put big eyes, probably a little bit bigger than I normally would. And then he sort of looks cross-eyed, so I'm going to put his iris sort of toward the center of his face, and his eyebrows go up, and he has wrinkles because he's looking like he's opening his eyes really wide, like he's very excited. You could make just a little curve in between the eye and the chin, halfway, or if you want to make a more realistic nose, you could make the nostrils and curve it up. And then he's making a weird smile, so you could see a line for his mouth, and then you could sort of see a thin lips if you want to draw them. They're spread out because he's smiling. He has these curves and a little bit of a chin. And that's it for Buddy. If you get done, you can color him in with colored pencils or markers. You could make the letters and the buildings that you see in the background of the movie advertisement. And thank you for watching.